What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to an episode of the Reel Junkies. I'm your host, Ron, here again with my man Vito. And today we are back with the hottest TV show running right now if you're a comic book nerd, and that is Daredevil Born Again. Arguably the hottest show running if you're just a fan of good television, honestly. Coming through with episodes 7 and 8. Episode 9 drops next week. We're looking forward to it. But here to give you our thoughts on the last two episodes, what we thought. So far, I really feel like this show is getting better as it goes along. Like, it feels like each episode is progressively adding more and getting better in terms of story quality, which is very difficult to do as you go ahead in a season. That's one of the key things you look for in a show is how can you keep me coming back and how can you keep raising the stakes episode to episode. And I think this show's done a great job of doing that so far. One of the things in episode 7 that we finally get to see is because in episode 6 we see Matt become Daredevil again, like fully. Episode 5 was where you see him mentally become Daredevil again when he's walking away from the bank and decides, "Nah, I'm gonna turn back around.
I'm gonna go do something about this."
Yeah, episode 5, because I think we called episode 5 a filler episode, and the more I thought about it, I was like, it is and it isn't. It feels like a filler episode because it doesn't really feel attached to the rest of the show. But episode 5 is the episode where Matt decides to become Daredevil again. It is, you know what I'm saying? Even from him turning around to go back into the bank, and when the last bank robber leaves, he puts on the cop uniform, he escapes, and he's walking away. Matt could just let him go. He doesn't. He puts on a red mask and goes after him and whoops his ass and breaks his leg.
So you know what? I'm glad you said that because I wanted to touch back on 5 from that because again, like I said, it felt like filler, but when you start looking at it, they were robbing a bank, so Luca could get that diamond, so he could pay his fee, his fine, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, for starting the turf war.
And I'm just thinking about why did this nigga do all that with that diamond? Just to leave it. I thought Matt was about to do some shiesty shit and palm that bitch because they need the money.
Hey, I wouldn't. I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, Matt's the firm about to come up.
I'm like, hold on, this nigga, man,
he might be on to something.
And like I said, he could have 100% let that guy go because he had the diamond. He had the diamond, and then the other lady was in there that I don't think he just didn't interact with her. He probably knew she was lying the entire time.
Yeah, the inside woman who was helping him out. That was working for the bank.
It was a lot going on.
Yeah, real Novocaine vibes.
So
that's the first thing I thought of.
So like I said, I just wanted to really talk on that diamond part because I was so confused. Like he could have simply left it. Like he could have literally left that diamond because they opened a few boxes, and somebody's gonna have to come down and claim that diamond. It's evidence now, or maybe that's what he was trying to avoid from it being evidence, and Kamala's dad just turning it back in. But like you said,
if Kamala's dad is smart, he kept that. But
that, bro, he's an honorable man. He's not keeping that diamond.
Man, look. I ain't even gonna say what I was gonna say.
Hey, listen, man. Listen.
I'm honorable, yes, but it's like
because let's be honest, bro.
When you part of a marginalized group and you got a chance to come up.
all I'm saying was that diamond. That was probably a criminal's diamond anyway.
Yeah, true. We don't really know 100%.
Me? They got that. If they got that big ass diamond, they got it insured. The biggest thing I got to worry about is who can I sell this to?
Yeah.
And they not gonna turn me in. You can't just go sell that diamond anywhere
to anybody. No, that's facts.
You gonna go try to sell that bitch? They gonna be like,
where you get this from?
Right, you just a regular nigga off the street walking around with this big ass. That was a big ass diamond.
Nah, facts. Nah, so, that's fair points were made.
But like you said,
I wouldn't have got mad if Kamala's dad wanted to, help the fam out a little bit. I personally wouldn't have blamed him for it. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying.
Maybe they get a phone call. The firm will get a phone call in a few days, like, "Hey, we got y'all.
That would be nice, but we'll see. But to get it back to episode 7 though, because the reason I wanted to touch base on that because I think those are important segues into the events of episode 7 because episode 7 is a lot of a good portion of episode 7 is Matt coming to grips with the fact that he is Daredevil again.
Yeah.
He spent the majority of the season not being Daredevil after episode 1. So episode 5 and 6, him kind of going back into that mindset of being Daredevil again. And then episode 6, him finally putting the suit back on. Episode 7 is a lot of him coming to grips with the fact that I made this promise to myself that I wouldn't do this again. And here I am back in the same mode, being Daredevil again. Granted, you stopped somebody from dying by doing that, but he broke his promise to himself. And not only that, it's also adversely affecting his relationship with Heather. Because now she's like, you seem withdrawn. You leave in the middle of the night. You got random bruises, and you won't explain where they came from.
And it's not just Heather; it's the other lady at the firm,
his partner at the firm,
right?
Yeah.
Because she doesn't know what's going on, and Cherry because Cherry knows that he's Daredevil. When he's begging him, like, "Hey, bro,
chill.
You're gonna blow your life up. I'm not gonna help you do this. Do not do this."
Even though it's partly Sherry's fault, though, like in a sense, like
what?
The reason why I say this, just hear me out. He went to Matt as soon as he found out about Muse. Mm-hmm. He went to Matt and immediately told him about him, and said, "Don't do anything about it."
He did, because you should have not just told. Not told.
If you know Matt and you know that Daredevil is a core part of who he was, and that he took a lot for him to not be Daredevil anymore, why would you then go to him and say, "Hey, there's this serial killer, and the cops have no idea how to stop him"?
But to be honest,
don't do anything about it though. But we just don't know what the hell we're doing over here with this.
He didn't for the longest. If you want to blame anybody, blame I don't remember her name, but little baby Ayala.
Because Hector Ayala's niece. Yeah.
He wasn't fucking with it until her dumb ass didn't come home.
She did push him over the edge, to finally say like fuck it.
What did she think she was gonna do?
She thought she was about to stop a serial killer by herself. I was wondering the same thing. She's walking down that track. I'm like, okay, so when you find him, what then? What's the plan?
So like I said, like Cherry told him, like, yo, I'm not. He ended up helping him though. I'm pretty sure he did because that's how. Well, Matt went back to the thing. He didn't help him, but Matt went back. Like you said, when he was filling the pictures,
mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm like, yo, like it's just telling like how. I really wish they would have gave him the powers instead of like
his powers.
No. Daredevil, Matt. Because like, in this show, he does like they don't say he has powers. Like he's just
they do kind of.
He's honed his skills. Like he can pick this stuff up. He doesn't have like the echo radar. Like he's just very good at sensing shit in the show.
They kind of set that up. I mean, I feel like the Netflix show set that up already. To me,
they ain't do it like I said, like what's the movie?
They ain't do it like the movie. No, but to be fair. I don't think we need that. Like, if you know Daredevil, he has echolocation.
But that's the thing. When this show came out, bro, it was a lot of motherfuckers because again, it's just a great show. The original, it's just a great show. So motherfuckers that wasn't watching it flocked to it. I mean, those hallway fight scenes, which built this shit, like that alone brought people.
They attracted people who are outside of the comic book fan sphere. You're right.
Yeah,
no,
you're
right.
But my point is, it just shows how how adept he is at using his powers or just his other senses. You see him feeling on Heather's face earlier in the episode, and then now he's like feeling each pain, and like to be able to pick up her facial structure off of that paint, each of those paintings is insane. Because even looking at him, you're like, okay, I see what he's going for, but this could be another motherfucker. Like, to be honest,
facts.
No,
he caught on to that immediately, and I do think the show does a great job of showing Daredevil's heightened senses. Like, I mean, the fact that he was, several blocks away outside of a
Yeah.
bank and heard everything that was
All the way
going
back
on inside the
with
bank.
the city traffic going on.
With city traffic and all these other sounds, like I think they do a good job of showing Daredevil's heightened senses in subtle ways and in non-subtle
Yeah,
ways.
like, and that's what I mean. Like, without, like, I like how they do it. I just wish they would have said it was the powers, like, instead of,
Yeah,
like I said, Echo make or not Echo Stick.
yeah.
Like, he's training them to use it to hone in on it, But if he don't focus, that should get fucked up. But like I said, I they really hone in on it on certain parts, like even like his sense of smell. And it's gonna go into the next episode, but so I'm not gonna touch it yet. But all of his senses are fucking just insane, insanely heightened.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I think one of the best parts for me looking at episode 7, outside of just him coming to grips really with him being Daredevil again, is I do really like kind of a point you were making when we were talking about Sherry, is you're allowing this to mess up the other aspects of your life, and we've seen this already with Matt. If you watch the original Netflix shows, his relationships with Foggy and Karen started to get strained at points because he's holding on to this secret of being Daredevil. And his relationship with Foggy actually broke for a minute after Foggy found out he was Daredevil. And it's like, why the fuck did you keep this from me? And I'm supposed to be like your closest friend. And you kept this entire part of your life a complete secret from me. And you're starting to see some of those similar themes creep into these new group of characters that Matt is associated with now. It's like it's the same problems are transferring to his new relationships now. And I think that's a great parallel of just showing like the life of a vigilante and someone who's committed to saving people. You really don't get a personal life. Yeah. Like that is not really a thing. If you're trying to, you can't successfully do both. And like, even though Matt is trying to, and he's trying to hold on to this idea of I can do both, you actually truly can't. It's really got to be one or the other. And I think it's coming back to that point for him where he's starting to realize like, I'm blowing up my life around me, even though I'm going to still end up being Daredevil. He's not going to stop being Daredevil because that's a core part of who he is. It's showing. I'm not even gonna say how that's a core part.
That's just who he
I think
is.
it is. It is who he is.
The same thing. How they say, I hate that when they say this, but Batman is Bruce Wayne's true identity, which is fucking stupid as shit. And I hate it, but Bruce Wayne is Batman. Like he's not going to be anything outside of Batman. And the same thing with Matt Murdock. Like you said, it literally cost him. He could have simply called the police and said, "Hey, it's a bank robbery going on."
Couldn't do it. He was like, I gotta turn back around. I gotta be Daredevil.
Always.
Even without the suit, I need to be Daredevil.
And again, like you said, that's not the first time. The first time would have been that episode. Was that episode 2 where he fought the cops in the apartment?
Yeah, that one's less obvious because like his life was in danger, right? So it's like I had to be Daredevil in that moment, right?
But he enjoyed it.
He enjoyed it. Yeah, you could see once he looked around, he was like, "Damn, I kind of fucked y'all up, didn't I?" Huh? You know what I'm saying? Like you could tell he liked doing that.
He was boasting about it after that, and
then kept trolling.
Like, yeah, he was. That's why I say like he was
like, damn, officer, what happened to your eye?
You could have left that alone, dog.
No, he was definitely troll master after that, which is I'm really liking this version of Matt Murdock that we're getting in this show. Is obviously the same character from the Netflix shows, but it feels like they've added a lot to him with the Disney Plus shows, and it feels like we're getting different angles of him as a character. Like we've never really seen him as a character try to put down the mantle of Daredevil and what that looks like. And I really like how this show does those parallels between him and Fisk, of them both trying to be something they're not, and then eventually just having to accept who they truly are in the end as the episodes begin to progress. But for episode 7, I do want to get into, I guess, what you could call the main event of that episode, which is Muse.
Before you do that, I just want to point out, you guys got to start. You just got to start listening to me.
I already know what you about to say. I already know what you about to say.
You just got to start listening to me, dog. As soon as I seen it, I said,
that nigga's
I caught it.
No, I was thinking the same thing. What's crazy is you had said it, and then when I started watching episode 7 in the recap, they showed that scene of that dude walking up to in the recap. They showed the scene of that dude walking up to Heather's like, "Hey, I need help" at the book signing. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Muse.
I skipped that episode.
Yeah, there's no way that's not Muse. And then obviously, lo and behold, you get the reveal that is. And I ain't gonna lie, the conversation that Heather and Muse has was actually very compelling. Just from that isolated standpoint, and I think it did a lot for Heather as a character. I'm glad that the episode built up Heather a little bit. Like, let's be real,
we
Heather
haven't been
was,
seeing her.
yeah, she was a background character, so you needed to kind of build her back up to the audience to have that scene have a little bit more weight, which I'm glad they did earlier on in that episode. So by the time she's alone with Muse, you feel the stakes a little bit more.
Yeah.
And at this point, Fisk has had the task force out searching for Muse left and right. They found his lair, obviously, that you referenced, with all the paintings that were made of blood. That's when Daredevil goes down there, feels all the faces of the paintings, and realizes, oh shit, one of these is Heather. I need to go right now.
All of these are Heather.
Yeah, damn near all of them are Heather. But you get to the scene where she's face to face with Muse, and he's just describing, his life and these dreams he's having, and he describes to her that, like, your work and your books made me feel seen and made me feel like I wasn't crazy, made me feel like I could be my true authentic self, which is Muse. Which you see how that impacts Heather as a character in some of in the next episode. But I thought
before
that
you finish her little story and that part, I just want to push back on that part, just because while he was telling his story, they were telling the story of Oh Boy and Fisk office. Like they're hey, the detective.
She was
about Taekwondo. Yep. Well, he had this instructor. He went missing.
He went missing, or no, they said he got killed. They never found out what happened. They don't know what happened. They never figured out how he. They never figured out what happened to him. But they did. I think they did a good job of giving us a good idea of who Muse was. But it was very clear, and I kind of got this sense as the show was progressing. I was like, all right, Muse is a villain, but he's not the villain in this show. I thought Muse was just going to be like the bad guy that got beat. But you said
that too. I want to say, like, first, second episode, you said that.
Yeah, like Muse is just going to be the guy that Daredevil defeats, but he's not the villain in this show. Right. And he got defeated a lot earlier than I thought he was going to. I thought he was at least going to last to the finale.
He did not.
No, he did not. Not even a little bit. Daredevil comes in right as Muse is essentially like he's about to kill Heather. Makes it very obvious, I'm about to kill Heather. Daredevil bursts in. They have their fight scene, which another thing I really like. Not to digress too much, but one thing I like about how they've portrayed Matt kind of readjusting to Daredevil is they've shown he's rusty.
Yeah.
Like when he goes to fight the bank robber in episode 5, the bank robber gets a few shots in. Like he's not like granted Matt. Yeah, like Matt's obviously the better fighter, but he's not wiping the floor with him how he usually would in his heyday, right? Like he's a little rusty when he goes to fight Muse the first time. Muse gets some shots in too. Yeah,
like he's breathing a lot heavier during the fights. But also when he shows up on the scene, the task force is showing up on the scene too. And I love when they do this because the fight it looked like the fight was about 5 or 6 minutes, right?
Give or take.
And then, but like they show up and they supposed to be going in right as this is happening. You know, so for us it's like 5 or 6 minutes, but the actual fight is not taking that long. You know?
And then Heather gets him up out of there.
And like that's why I said, like you said, like he got rusty when he's getting back up, and when he threw that fucking the grappling hook through his chest. I'm like, oh, he not fucking around. He's not If Heather wouldn't have packed him up,
he might have packed him up. Man, I ain't gonna lie. You could see it in that scene. I was like, is Daredevil about to kill him? Like you saw it in that scene. Like he kind of lost it once he realized that like Heather was in danger. He kind of saw it, literally, no pun intended, saw red, and just he started kind of losing the reins that he puts on himself to stop himself from killing people. You started to see those start to loosen a little bit in that fight for sure.
But he was also fighting a prodigy, you know.
Yeah,
he not fighting a nigga like he not fighting one of those cops where he can put him down.
But he was skilled with the hands too.
He's fighting a guy that he like I said, he's good with the hands. That pain, the same way Matt was getting back up, he was getting back up.
He was getting back up.
Now, Matt was putting him on though, and he wasn't getting up as easy. But also, like Matt wasn't putting him down like he should have been, and that's where, like you said, that's where you seen it pick up where he was getting more vicious during the fight.
Yeah.
And then when he, like I said, when he threw that fucking grappling hook, and I don't know how he did he push it or something? However he fucking, when the grappling hook went through his chest, I'm like, oh yeah, he about to,
Yeah, Matt not fucking
it's getting
around at
nasty.
all. Yeah, and I once Heather shot him, and Heather was losing a lot of blood. Matt obviously leaves the scene, and the task force comes in. I was like, I called it before it happened. I'm like, Fist gonna come in here, say the task force killed Muse, take credit for it, and it's gonna like skyrocket his stardom in the city, and now the whole city's gonna love him. Lo and behold,
I thought he was gonna use that as a thing to say like they both tried to jump her or some shit. Like
yeah,
I really thought, and she can't dispute it because she lost so much
she's
blood.
unconscious. Yeah.
She don't, but again, like you said, she knows she killed that man, and we talk about
That
that when we get to 8. But
And there's a last thing on episode 7 before we get to 8, though, is when Heather was sitting in the hospital, it was something she said. I think she's starting to put 2 and 2 together.
about Matt.
She said, before I lost consciousness, I could have swore I heard Daredevil say my name. And I was like, oh, she's figuring it out. She's going to figure it out.
And it's funny because it's fun. So while we're talking, I'm like playing through episode 7 real quick, and it's the little clock timer that she got. Mm-hmm. I just seen that on TikTok for some reason. It like TikTok shop. Somebody talking about some, yeah, this helps me keep time. But but yeah, so it is like you said. I noticed that too. She's like, I could have sworn he said my name, but again, she's losing conscious and shit. Yeah, and I think Matt really does I'm gonna be honest with you. He does a terrible job of hiding his identity. I mean, I guess it's the whole Superman thing where like it's supposed to like we supposed to use our suspension of disbelief in this part and be like, no, that they like there's no way they would know. But like if I see you every day and then a nigga your stature comes around and he got a mask on.
Here's the thing though, the difference between Daredevil and Superman is Superman's not blind. Like Matt has the advantage of just being underestimated simply because he's blind. What do you mean this blind dude is putting on a devil costume and beating the shit out of everybody on a nightly basis? That's not very believable. You know what I'm saying? Like it's played off in the way that people interact with Matt when he's Matt, right? Yeah. Like the bank robbery scene is a perfect example. The bank robbers, even though Matt was the biggest threat to them in that room, that's not how they treated him. It's just some blind lawyer dude. Like, yeah, like nobody. Come on, follow this. Yeah, man. Come on, dude. I'll show you where to go. Like everybody they're not worried about him.
Sit your ass down.
Exactly. Like he's immediately treated as a non-threat as Matt Murdock. So like that in of itself is the best cover because if you had to pick, okay, well, who's the possible culprit that's putting on a Daredevil, that's putting on a devil costume and beating the shit out of criminals every night? The blind lawyer is not your first choice.
You know what though? I don't care. Even still somebody that knows you this closely, like the facial thing. That's something to at least be like when you see like I met Daredevil the other night. Y'all got a favor a little bit. Like
y'all kind of you know him. He a distant cousin.
I 100% get what you're saying. Like because the nigga's blind. Like he is blind, and that's which helps him a lot. But then you like, nigga, he looks like y'all niggas look bro. I seen Daredevil. Y'all can be cousins, bro. Swear to God. He got the same little stubble you got.
He got the little gruff, the same area.
I can only see down here, but
voices sound the same. Like, hold on now. Nah, that's facts.
And they don't like. I think when he was on Netflix, I think he did kind of make his voice a little more raspier and
than he does now.
Then now it's like it feels like he's just talking, or maybe we're just used to it.
Yeah. Also, though, he hasn't been Daredevil that much in this season. Though we've seen him in Daredevil for like 3 or 4 scenes total throughout 8 episodes.
Because when he spoke to Ayala when she was on that table, I said the same thing. I'm like, she gonna know she gonna.
Yeah, but it's like also once again, why would you expect the blind lawyer to be the dude beating the shit out of people every night? You know what I'm saying? It's like
a blind lawyer, like, come on.
He has a built-in excuse on why he's not Daredevil. All the time. But like literally.
I think the last thing we mentioned the Heather thing, trying to put the pieces together.
Yeah.
But the last thing we got to mention, and it's crazy because she kind of putting the piece together, but when episode 8 came around, I'm like, oh, she don't know shit. But the last thing in episode 7, which we forgot to talk about, was BB. BB and oh
Yes.
boy, when oh boy said, yo, this is what you gonna do. And she's like,
Yeah, and
that
basically like
everybody
threatened
knows it was
her.
Daredevil.
Yeah.
Everybody knew Daredevil was there. And
Yeah.
he's like, yo, you gonna do this or we gonna make your life hell.
Yeah.
Like, and he really like he's coming. And again, remember I said I was like at first I said it's the guy at the book signing, it's Muse. Then I said it could also be this guy. Like I think I'm like, maybe that's a red herring, it could be this guy. I think he's gonna play a bigger role in season 2.
Absolutely. You can
Then
see he's the like political right hand of Fisk, while the other dude is the criminal right hand of Fisk.
yeah.
So he has like extreme loyalists now on both sides of the fence.
And he's icing out the actual
The actual political advisor.
You know,
Yeah.
So it's funny, and we talk about that more in the next episode. But with that dude, I'm like, when he did that shit, I'm like, oh, he did with some balls. But
A
then
little
like
bit.
it's weird because like they are actually friends.
Like literally, his relationship with her predates anything he's done with Wilson Fisk. So
Yeah.
it kind of shows like the power of Fisk and being in that
Yeah.
orbit. It kind of corrupts everything around it.
Because he
You know
be
what I'm
glazing
saying?
the fuck out of Wilson.
Oh no, he is the ultimate cock
I'll
gobbler.
die for you, bro. I will do anything for you.
He is the ultimate. No, yeah, he's
nigga.
he's extreme glaze for sure. Extreme glaze. He's not pulling no punches with that. He wants the world to know how much he loves Wilson Fisk. It's actually very disturbing.
He probably got one of them bumper stickers and say,
I'm telling, bro, he
I
got a
heart
bumper
Fisk or some
sticker.
shit.
He got a poster at his motherfucker in his
You
room,
know
probably.
they got the LeBron Barbies. They probably got a Wilson Fisk Barbie. That motherfucker got 13 of them.
Boy, he got them. He got the fucking fat head. He probably got the like, bro. I'm telling you, like, his boy got a layer for sure. Like,
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
he ain't all there.
no, not at all.
And you can kind of see it where, you know, it was easier to see it earlier where some of the mistakes he made, like especially how quick he got drunk and like just started spilling shit.
Just started
But, like,
spilling all the info.
You can tell he's not all there, and like
Yeah.
he kind of flips the switch. And like you said, I'm gonna just roll us into the 8 if you don't mind.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Because
It's about time to get there
Wilson
anyway.
Fisk makes him the deputy mayor of communications. And when he does this, again, and I'm jumping around because I'm only focusing on him. The chief of staff, she goes, I don't think this is a good idea if you don't mind me saying. Wilson goes, oh, I mind you
I
saying.
do mind. I do mind.
Which again,
Shut the fuck up.
He getting back into his thing. But
Yeah.
then they have a dinner at the end of the night, and she goes, I apologize. I mean no hard feelings by this, but I don't think you're ready for this. That's it. I just don't want you to be unprepared. She's basically saying like, I don't give a shit what he give you, but I don't think you're ready for this position. And that happens with people. And he went, and that shit was cold to me. He said, when I started working here, I really wanted us to get along. I really cared about what you thought. And now, and nigga just walked away.
He just walked away. Like, oh, now he flexing on her now?
I'm
like, come on now.
That nigga was kind of like, but like you said, that just, the sphere of Wilson Fisk and the power that he holds, like, the nigga was like kind of like a little squeaky, and the only reason he was around Wilson is because he was a fucking groupie. And now this nigga, like, he pulled his balls up, put his jock strap on, and he walking around with his chest out now.
Yeah, no, he's you can see like the character definitely beginning to change just as a result of being associated with Fisk. He even says it when they're at the dinner with BB, like, look at what I have access to now. You know what I'm saying? Look at where we're at. Look at the opportunities I get to provide, right? So it definitely changes that character, but it also, I think, kind of paved the way for BB to eventually start to have the role that I thought she was going to have much earlier in the show when we found out she was Ben Urich's niece, I believe. Like, as soon as I found that out, I'm like, okay, well, she's only here because she has to know that Kingpin killed her
She
uncle.
want to take that nigga down.
Like that has to be the only reason she's even agreeing to be in proximity with him. And obviously that proved to be true, later on in that episode when she talks to the police commissioner and he's like, yeah, Fisk was the number one suspect in your uncle's murder. She's like, oh, I'm well aware. Why do you think I'm here?
Hey, and his little punk ass, bro. He how you gonna get mouthy with her about being there and putting out that article when you're not doing shit?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That kind of blew me because like you just watched one of your officers put a man's hand in a fucking fryer, in a deep fryer for no reason.
At first, well, it was a reason he took a picture. Don't take that picture. Which was crazy because, nigga, you're the mayor. Niggas are going to take pictures of you. It wasn't like they taking pictures of shit. I don't know what he did with the picture. I hope that that's explained in the next episode.
Yeah, it's like one of the wait staff, though, like, took your picture. It's like, bro, should he have done that? No. But, like, mayors don't have people's hands put in deep fryers. Also.
Well, in his defense, he just said, take care of him. And
come on,
Buddy was beating him up at first, and then he said, "I'm not assaulting him. This is an assault."
That's assault. I was like, "Damn, the fuck?"
And you know what that reminded me of? Novocaine.
Bro, I'm screaming. Literally though, like exactly. It's a lot of Novocaine callbacks in these 2 episodes. I ain't gonna lie.
But he can feel it, and
yeah, no, ain't no SEPA here. He felt that pain.
But like you said, I'm gonna take us back a little bit because we talked about how Matt being Daredevil is kind of fucking up his relationship.
Oh, that became very apparent in this episode.
Even the beginning of this episode, Wesley, is his name Wesley Wilson, the butler dude, his right hand.
Oh, like Fisk right hand.
Yeah.
I don't read. Buck is his name.
But Wesley was the last.
When he comes. Yeah, Wesley was the one from the Netflix show. Yeah.
So, Buck, he shows up at the door, and I just assumed it was gonna be Fisk because you hear every time something's happening, they kind of play a little sound that kind of it's supposed to zone in on Matt, the sensing like kind of like the
it's like his spider sense almost.
Exactly, that's exactly what I was trying to get to. It's almost like his spidey senses. So like you hear it and you like, oh shit, something. I'm thinking Fisk mad about him being Daredevil. He invites it to the gala that they gonna have.
We didn't even touch on that part about Fisk crashing out over the fact that, wait, what do you mean Daredevil's back?
In episode 7.
In episode 7, he did have a mini crash out when he was like, when his advisor came to him and said, yeah, they found out Daredevil was on the scene. He was like, who? Excuse me?
Yeah, like one of the and they talked. That's how the article got made because
it was one of the detectives told him Daredevil was on the scene when that girl got saved by Muse, and he was like,
"No, he wasn't."
What do you mean? Daredevil's not back. What the fuck are you talking about?
like I said, I thought he was gonna use that as an opportunity, but like I said, but him and Heather gets into an argument about one. He's like, "You're not treating him, are you?" And Matt starts crashing out. And
definitely starts crashing.
Oh, he doing this to get to me. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
She's like, first of all, watch your tone.
Like, you talking to get to you. Why would he want to get to you? And like, again, she doesn't know you're Daredevil, bro. So he's trying to keep these secrets. And this is, especially this one. I don't think he's had a more public, or a more severe, like you said, Foggy's was like, Foggy found out, and then it was like, yo, I'm not fucking with you. But this one is like, she didn't find out. She just knows something isn't right. You're disappearing. How you get this bruise on you, nigga? You talk about I'm a blind man. And he gets defensive, too.
What was his excuse? I went on a walk and I'm blind, so I don't know where I run into shit.
That? I'm embarrassed. He get real like defensive and shit, and like you said, like he starts snapping at her, and you can't do that to. Listen, it's some women out there you can do that to, Matt. Karen was one of them to begin with, but then she got a backbone. This one, he can't start that shit because
she ain't going.
By the end of it, throughout this episode, you're like, yo, she about to break up with this nigga.
Yeah, Karen stayed through a lot, but also Karen knew his secret.
She learned his secret. She was
after a certain point in time, she learned his secret,
she
right?
was sticking around before that, though.
Before that, you're right. She was, even despite.
And that's what I'm saying. Like this, Heather's not letting it get to that point.
Yeah.
But we forgot to talk about the opening.
We did forget to talk about the opening of episode 8, where a character who I was wondering if we were ever going to see them by the time this season ended came back. We finally got Bullseye back. Literally the opening scene, we see Bullseye. They kind of catch you up a little bit on what he's been doing since episode 1. They reveal that he's been moved to Gen Pop. They don't necessarily tell you why, but it's implied. Yeah, you kind of get it. Like, they don't explicitly tell you why, but you get it. And it's like, oh, Fisk had him moved. So I was like, okay, Fisk had to have had something with him killing Foggy. Mm-hmm. Or, there's just no other way why he would have to be moved to Gen Pop. And why else would you want him dead unless he was truly a loose end? Right? So he puts in the request to see Matt. He gets the news actually from his right hand. Name,
because this is
please do, because we're disrespecting this young black queen by not. We don't know this lady's. We don't know this character's name at all.
They said her name at the beginning. They said her name when they went on the date. So first episode they said her name. Mm-hmm. Third episode they mentioned that
Kristen.
They mentioned Kristen
or name? Kirsten. I'm sorry, Kirsten.
They
Kirsten's
mentioned her after the date. And then, like you said, so Kirsten, like you said, Kirsten told him like this. He like, yeah, I don't care. I'm not fucking with him. I'm not fucking with him. She said, yeah, don't do it. And again, the only thing that, why was he at Josie's? Was he just hanging around?
I think he was just, I don't know, reminiscing. I guess he just needed a minute because he kind of had a breakdown when he was with Kirsten. I think he snapped. Yeah, you're right. He snapped on one of the clients. He leaves, goes to be with Josie. He kind of has that talk with her about Foggy, and eventually he starts kind of putting some things together about that night and what Foggy was celebrating and what could have possibly connected or what the reason could have been on why somebody would have wanted him dead. So then that's when he immediately leaves, goes to talk to him, and he's like, he's trying to get out of Bullseye what he thinks the answer is, right? Like, Wilson Fisk hired you, right? Fisk hired you, and he's basically kind of interrogating him, bashes his head into the table once he realizes he's not really going to get a whole lot of information out of this dude, which ended up being a pretty bad mistake in hindsight.
That was no mistake. He did that on purpose. So I'm glad you said
that. You think you wanted him to escape?
Because what did he say? He said, if I'm not out of here, I'm not telling you anything because I'm going to die. Boom, boom, boom. And before he left, he said, I'll see you around. Or he said, thank you, counselor, or I'll see you around, counselor, or some shit like that.
He said, thank you. Yeah.
Because, again, his tooth, soon as he started banging his head and he said, thank you, counselor, I'm like, oh, Matt, what did you do? What the fuck did you do? Because we know fucking Poindexter.
Bullseye only needs an object. It don't matter what the object is.
And he's not trying to knock you out. He's going to kill you. And kill people he did.
Oh, yeah. Some people got murked.
I'm really interested in seeing like how Matt struggles with this. You did this.
Yeah.
Like you set this in motion. However many people Poindexter killed to escape this prison. Mm-hmm. But also, why is this prison so close?
He got to that gala in a hurry, nigga.
How the fuck?
Like, that shit low-key blew me. Like, no, so like just the sequence of events. He leaves the interrogation room with Matt. He gets tied up. I guess they're bringing him in they're bringing him there to kill him, as we find out. Because that's when Vanessa calls him and asks, like, "Oh, is he dead yet?"
No, that was Wilson
or Fitz. One of them called and asked, like, "Please tell me he's dead."
So yeah, that's why, like,
so they brought him there to kill him.
Weird, like Fisk was trying to kill him. So, like, did Fisk find out At what point did he find
There's
out?
no way he did, because remember.
But why would he want him dead?
In the scene, like in that scene, in that gala, when they're dancing, when Vanessa and Fisk are dancing, and then Matt and Heather interrupt them and all that.
Yeah,
Matt starts dancing with Vanessa. Right before that, Vanessa, when they first get the news that Bullseye escaped. And the first thing Vanessa says is, "I have something I need to tell you."
Yep.
And he stops her because he's like, "Not here," because he knows Daredevil can hear them. He's like, "Not here. Tell me later." And that's when Daredevil puts two and two together that, oh, Fisk isn't the one that hired Bullseye to kill Foggy. Vanessa was.
So why did he want him dead? Because he moved him.
I'm under the impression.
Last season? I'm
under the impression. Well, there's that. Like, if you know how season 3 of the Netflix show ended, Bullseye was trying to kill Fisk. So there's already precedent there that they don't like each other. A.
Yeah.
And then B, it's possible Vanessa went to him and said, "Hey, can you have this dude moved?" and didn't really explain why.
And he just did it.
Because that's Vanessa. Like, it's possible either one of those things happened.
Because you're right. When that happened, I'm like, yo. Because she knows he's Daredevil, which is crazy.
Yeah, Vanessa knows.
So
Vanessa
why would you try and say that? Maybe she doesn't understand everything about him, but why the fuck would you say that there?
It's a fair point. Because at first, when she started to say, like, "I have something I need to tell you," and Fisk stops her, I'm thinking, well, obviously Fisk knows he's Daredevil. But then when she says it, like, "Does your girl know you're Daredevil?" I'm like, okay, so you knew and you were still just going to openly talk about what you were going to talk about, knowing he's in the room and knowing he can hear your whole conversation. That was an odd choice for me. But we've seen the character of Vanessa get a lot more vicious, especially in this episode.
Beginning of the episode
is the first time we really see it through the Netflix shows up until now. We knew Vanessa was shady, but we've never really seen Vanessa get blood on her hands until now. This is the first time we've seen Vanessa actually, like, get her hands dirty. This implied she did that while Fisk was away, but we, that happened off screen, we didn't see it. This is our first time really seeing, like, oh, okay, Vanessa's about it. We heard y'all say she was, but this is our first time actually seeing it.
Because I think he says that too. Like when after she says that, he's like, "Yo, it wasn't her. Fisk was away."
Yeah,
I think he did say that. Like while
Fisk was away, she was running things, so she was the one that would have put the hit out on Foggy. Yeah, like it all added up in that scene, honestly. But to get back to Bullseye and his rapid speed, like literally the sequence of events is they're taking him into this room to kill him. He reveals that he has the loose tooth, kills everybody in the room, escapes, puts on the cop uniform, escapes from the prison. Literally within minutes, we're seeing the next scene of, hey, Bullseye escaped. And Fisk is, scrambling to try to figure out what he's going to do. And then the next thing you see is Bullseye is at the gala with a damn sniper rifle. It's like, how did we get here?
You know what? I knew he was going to take that sniper rifle. When I seen Buddy up there with the sniper rifle, I was already like, okay, that's this is not a big space.
Yeah.
You did not need that sniper rifle in that room. There's only one reason that sniper rifle is in that room. It's and that's so he can kill whoever he's going to kill. And like you said, as I'm playing it back, they call him when he's dancing with Vanessa.
Yeah.
That's when she calls him. So he already heard that it happened. And they call like, oh, have you moved me yet? Taken care of?
Yeah.
This happened. But so that's what he said, like, this happened quickly because this jailbreak happens and nobody knows until hours later. But like you said, we don't. Again, they don't give us a time.
We don't know what the time. We don't know what the time lapse was between when he escaped and got there. They made it seem like it was instant.
We just don't know what time frame it was. But like you said, he's there, and I thought he was gonna kill Heather at first. I thought he was gonna shoot Heather, thinking because again, now that we know that she was responsible for Foggy's death. I'm like, oh, he wants to kill her. I don't think he knows that. I think he knows that she ordered it, but he probably thinks that Fisk was still behind it.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that too. I think I don't know we don't really have a whole lot of context, right? So we don't
Yeah.
really know exactly what Bullseye knows at this moment. But I'm of the mindset that even if he got the call from Vanessa, he assumes Fisk told her to do it.
Right.
So that's going to be his primary target anyway, because in his mind, Fisk is the head honcho.
And
So
again, he hates
anything that
Fisk.
comes from Vanessa is coming from him. You know what I'm saying? He probably doesn't have the context that no, Fisk was away and Vanessa was actually running things on her own for a period of time.
Right.
He might not have that context. In his mind, it might be, I don't give a damn where he is. He's still Kingpin. So if you're telling me to do something, it's coming from him.
And this is my issue with him. You already don't like Kingpin. Why are you working for him?
Hey,
because and that's
assassins need to get paid too.
That's what we didn't mention is that the Foggy was killed because his witness, which again, why didn't you just kill the witness? But the witness,
things that didn't make sense, but
the witness, he's like, yo, Foggy's gonna win this case. However he gonna win it, he gonna win this case. And that witness going away, I believe, is what Fisk needed to come back.
If that might have been it.
I think if that witness would have testified, Wilson Fisk would have never came back.
Yeah,
because he was going to go to prison.
Yeah,
and that again, that's why Foggy was celebrating, but he didn't tell anybody. But he like, we gonna drink this liquor that we don't drink.
Because I know I just got fit. I ain't gonna lie, that might make sense. Because the way Matt kind of pieced it together when he was with Josie, like that makes sense. That kind of tracks actually, and it makes sense why you would go after Foggy and not necessarily the witness, right? Because who's really the bigger threat to you? Like one person is just their word against yours.
Right.
The other one is a trained lawyer who can probably prove whose skills could be used to prove that what that person's saying is legitimate. So to me, between them, Foggy is the bigger threat. So if I'm picking which one I need to get rid of, if I'm Fisk, Foggy would be the bigger threat in that case. So it does make sense. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because without Foggy, that witness's testimony doesn't hold as much weight, especially if it's coming against somebody who's now running for mayor.
Because we see that fucking Matt didn't know what was going on.
You know what I'm saying? So, it makes sense.
But then again, if Matt did know what was going on, you killing Foggy wouldn't have did shit because
Matt would have just came in and took right over.
But then he doesn't know that Matt is Daredevil, does he?
Who?
Poindexter, Bullseye.
I'm not sure if Bullseye. I don't remember if Bullseye knows of Matt Murdock because I don't think he does either. I'm trying to remember back to season 3 now, but I don't know if he ever found out.
I'm just thinking about how him doing everything. Like he never said anything about him being Daredevil, and he believes that he's blind.
Yeah, I mean the whole time he the whole time he was talking to Matt, he spoke to him as if he was just a lawyer.
Yeah.
So I don't think if he knew he was Daredevil, he would have made inferences to him being Daredevil. I think that's what villains do, right? He wasn't just going to let that be a comfortable conversation. He talked to him. The way he was talking to him, I think Bullseye genuinely believes he's just a blind lawyer and nothing else. So we'll see. I mean, I think these past 2 episodes showed us a lot about the progression of where the show is going to go. I did some research, and apparently the episodes 2 through 6, I believe, or 2 through 7, were shot by the original Daredevil Born Again team before Kevin Feige retooled the story and did the reshoot and brought in the new writers. Okay. So the last few episodes we've seen are the new team, not necessarily the old team of writers. Like it's completely done by the new team. So. Yeah, I think these last few episodes are going to give us a clear indication of what season 2 is going to be like. They're filming. I think they started filming.
We got a few more points we got to hit on before we wrap this up. The first one was Kingpin, the parallel for Kingpin becoming Kingpin when he's at this little event. You know, he's pulling people in his room.
When he threatened swordsman,
He told him, he said, "Yo, you know my vigilante squad know about you." He like that only happened.
You hear what they doing to people around there?
Yeah, that's like they fucking niggas up.
you hear what they doing to people out there, right?
You know, he like that only happened one time. That's not this, and this. He said that don't matter. That just give them more motivation to go after to investigate you. Mm-hmm. And you know, and Fisk is trying to get this money for this project that he's trying to do. And again, I'm hating that they broke up the season like this because I don't know when we're going to get season 2. Um, it's going to be next year. I figure it's going to be
Yeah,
next
I
year.
hope it's. I hope next year is the most they make us
But
wait for season
there's
2.
so much going on in this show
Yeah,
that they are not going to wrap up in this last episode because
yeah, it's too
what is
much.
his motivation for this this peer project? You know, he talked about like, yeah, you know, when I was really getting money, nigga, you know, I was doing it at the pier. That's where I came up at, you know. But now he's trying to
Yeah,
do it legally. But again, he public funding and he's extorting people. And I don't know if you noticed when the swordsman went to go talk to the one lady, he's like, he's like, yeah, I'm waiting on so and so. I haven't seen him yet. Basically, her partner, her husband.
she looks terrified.
And then he said something. The swordsman said something to somebody else, and she was missing somebody.
Yeah, no,
So,
that I did notice that at the beginning of that scene when at the gala when the swordsman was talking to the significant others, like that first woman, the lady he talked to, the one that was part of the billionaire club
mm-hmm.
that Fisk had to like coddle to for a minute, she looked terrified.
But Fist,
Like
I mean,
you saw the fear in her
yeah,
face. She looked scared
but the
as
swordsman don't
hell.
have a family, you
Yeah,
know. And so the only thing he could be threatened with was that, and because he
yeah.
said like, I'm not scared of you. What are you gonna do?
And also, unlike the other people, because Swordsman was in Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
So, unlike the other people in that little billionaire club, Swordsman knows exactly who Kingpin
Who
is.
Fisk is?
Yeah, he doesn't. He's not fooled by, oh, you're mayor. No, I know who you really
Well,
are.
the other people like they know he's shady, but they don't know how shady. But like you
Yeah, they
said,
know. Yeah, they
swordsman.
know he's shady, but they don't know he's Kingpin.
Because
You know
Swordsman
what I'm
is a
saying?
shady nigga.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so
There's
it,
a
but
difference. You're right. They do
he
know he's shady,
knows.
but Swordsman knows he's
Yeah,
Kingpin. There's a difference.
he know everything that Fisk is about.
He knows every. Yeah, he knows the
And
whole backstory.
so he basically threatens him with the task force. But like you said, like that, it's just showing the parallels again. You seen Matt really become Daredevil again, but like Fisk is still like he was still on the fence still until this episode. One, he brought Vanessa in to he brought Vanessa in and said, like, hey, I don't want to lie to you, baby.
I've been in here beating the shit
that was the second thing
out
I
of the dude
said.
you cheated on me with.
That's the second thing I said when I was like, no, he was alive when they finished that fight.
He was alive. You're right. I for sure thought Buddy got offed.
I didn't think Buddy was gonna be up and about like he was though.
Yeah, he was. I was like, you recovered from that quick. He fucked you up, but you kind of like smooth now.
And like you said, like I think I want to go back to Matt's crash out because he like when at the party again he shows up late and Heather's like you can see that she's stressing, looking for him.
Yep.
But then he show up, he like, yo, I'm sorry, something happened. I went to go see Poindexter. And she like now she's snippy at him. Again, this is not.
She's like, you went to go do what?
Yeah, you know, she like, I don't even care right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
again, like it's they butting heads at this point. And and he started crashing. Not again. She like he like because he say something again about how he's using her to get to him. He's like, oh, let's go then. He's like pulling her. Vanessa sees this and she like, we go dance. Pulls Fisk away. And that's how like it diffused what was going to happen because
facts.
I don't know what Matt was going to do, but also I felt like that was a drastic leap. We missed something for him to behave this irrationally in public. I think like we didn't miss anything. I think like you said, like episodes was reshot and stuff like that. I think some shit was taken out that probably should have been there. Because again, you know Fisk is doing what he's doing. Fisk know you doing what you're doing this whole time. And it's not like Fisk is doing some crazy shit, but he's not doing no crazy shit like he was in seasons 1, 2, and 3.
Nah.
So like when Matt behaving like that was kind of crazy. Like it was kind of out of character to me.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. Because we've the I would say for both Matt and Fisk, the versions of them we've seen in this show is more tame in comparison to what we saw on the Netflix show. But also that's a part of just the story they're telling because for the majority of this season, they've both been trying to pretend they're not who they used to be. You know what I'm saying? So in that sense, you're just not going to get the same brutality from them that you saw. You're not going to see Kingpin smashing a dude's head in with a car door. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just not. You're not getting that in this season because that's just not the story they're trying to tell. Now season 2, he might get back to it. But right now, there's just a different story they were telling with these characters of showing like, these two people are moving on to different avenues in their life. And in order for them to successfully do that, they feel like they have to put their previous or past lives behind them until they just realize that they just can't. They've been Daredevil and or Kingpin for too long, and that's so ingrained in who they are that no matter how hard they try to separate themselves from that identity, it's just going to keep doubling back. Like either the past is going to catch back up to you, or you're just going to get that urge again to go out and save people because you're only going to be able to sit idly by and watch innocent people get hurt, knowing you could be doing something about it and not doing it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of the parallel they have. Like, I think one of Fisk's biggest moments in this show of realizing like he doesn't like just being a politician, he needs to still be Kingpin a little bit, was when Luca went into his office and damn near threatened him.
Oh, he was pissed.
Like he went into Kingpin's office and talked to Kingpin in a way that no one would have ever thought to talk to Kingpin before. But now that he's mayor, you feel like I can do this, and you can't really retaliate the way that you used to retaliate. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that was a scene where he went, I can be mayor, but this is not, I'm not tolerating this ever again. I still need to be Kingpin a little bit.
Yeah.
I still need people to fear me. And like, that's where you start to see him dive into being Kingpin a little bit more in the next, see, as the show progresses from there.
You also see, like I said, because again, Vanessa wasn't in his life at first. And when he left, she was all in.
Yeah.
She was all in. And when they killed Luca, that's exactly what she needed to be back on his side.
Yes.
And like you said, like she happy now. Shit, we ain't keeping secrets no more. Mm-hmm. He may have kidnapped my boyfriend, but I'm gonna kill him.
So then, boom, problem solved. Like what? Demented ass.
Yeah, you see it just how they operating together and how it's working at this point.
No, them psychopaths deserve each other for sure.
Because again,
definitely deserve each other.
Y'all could have just let this nigga go. Well, I guess.
It was kind of too far gone at this point. Because I mean, it depends how credible of a source is he. Yeah, y'all. The mayor was.
Who's gonna believe this nigga?
That the mayor was holding him hostage underneath a porch somewhere and beating the shit out of him.
He don't even know where he was at though. Put a motherfucking bag over his head, drop him off somewhere.
Yeah.
Nigga, you see how he looked? He had hair growing everywhere. He was dirty.
He wasn't a credible source. Yeah, no one was gonna believe him. And but that's not the Fisk style. Like, come on now.
He wants.
You got to get gone. You have to.
And
that's just how they operate.
I forgot. Matt knew that. When they told him that Poindexter escaped, Matt didn't make a mention to like knowing Poindexter escaped. Like they didn't show us hearing that. But then after that, literally right after they told him that, that's when she's like, I got a secret to tell you. And he's like, oh, it was her.
Yeah.
It was her. And old girl just going along with it. She like, okay, I'll dance with Fisk. I'll dance with my patient, who I guess at this point is not a patient no more because Vanessa like, yo, we good.
We smooth, right? We good. We worked all of it out. We killed our way to a healthy relationship.
So we don't know how many sessions they didn't had together. We've only seen 2. But again, the timeline has been way longer.
Yeah, it's a little blurry on how much time has been passing. So they haven't really been that clear with that, honestly. But they've done, I would say, a hell of a job so far, just getting us to this point. Honestly, I don't know where I would rank this season just yet.
Well, hold on, you gotta close it out, bro.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
yeah. I don't know where I'd rank this season just yet amongst like the other Daredevil show, like the other seasons of Daredevil we've gotten. We still have one more episode left to go. But I like the way that they've kind of pivoted and still kept the spirit of that original Netflix show, while telling a pretty much completely different story with new characters, but still keeping it grounded within that world. I think the show's been doing a great job of that so far. Not gonna give it a rating just yet. I'm gonna wait until episode 9 to like fully give my final thoughts, and kind of give an idea of what I thought about the season as a whole. But so far we're trending to a pretty high we're trending to a very high rating. I'm not gonna lie. They just have to stick the landing now, because this show is good with me. I've seen pretty much everything I need to see, honestly, at this point. The finale just needs to deliver in the places I needed to deliver to, and I'm 100% content with everything I've seen. This show has been phenomenal. They've done a great job of showcasing different aspects of these characters. They've done a good job of showing us different aspects of Matt and Fisk. They've done a good job of introducing us to newer characters that we had no attachment to before. They actually made me care about Heather. They've made.
Honestly, I do not.
I'm interested in her as a character now.
I'm
After episode 7 and 8, they took a character that I had no interest in and made me interested in her now.
I'll say after their discussions, especially the one about how she feels about like where she's trying to put them together as far as Muse and Daredevil, like they the same person, this and this and this.
Yeah,
I'm interested to see how this progresses once she finds out.
Yeah, who he is, because especially given her views on vigilantes, that's gonna cause some strain for sure.
And again, he told her to begin with, like when they first date, when they went out, Fisk was running for mayor, and he's like, "Yo, I don't fuck with him." Like he told her like, "It's shit, I really don't fuck with him, like this, and this." And then again, he comes to you as a client, like for some odd reason. Why you?
Yeah, facts.
When Buck comes to nobody knew she was here. How did you know she was
How
here?
you know she was staying here?
Yeah. So again, Matt seems crazy. He seems like he's crashing out.
He's spot on with everything he's saying.
Fisk he's trying to push his buttons. Now, when I said we got to wrap this up, I wasn't talking about wrapping this up. I was saying wrap up that episode because we never talked about Matt getting shot. We mentioned it, we went around it, but we never said Matt got shot. So Poindexter, like I said, he's aiming to take out Fisk, and Matt jumps in front of him.
I'll address that with just one line that, because you're right, that is something that needs to be addressed. Even though obviously Matt's not dead, but I do think
unless the hand comes back and they bring him back to life.
That would be a wild way to do episode 9, but no. I'll address that with one line, because I've seen a lot of like online discourse and people I talked to just in casual conversation about the show. Like, why the fuck would Matt jump in front of Fisk and save him? And the episode actually set that up earlier in the conversation he had with Bullseye. He says, what did he say to Matt? He said, you're something along the lines of, you're a good man, and one thing about good men is they defend their worst enemies.
He sure did. Oh my God, he sure did.
And that came to fruition at the end, where he's about to shoot Fisk, and immediately Matt just jumps into Daredevil mode and thinks to save him, not even thinking, wait, this is Wilson Fisk. Maybe I should just let him take the shot. I have to be a hero.
And you see
I have to save people no matter who it is.
Like, he kind of like, he's kind of like, it looks like he's sad that he shot the lawyer.
Matt, like he's like, that wasn't meant for you, bro.
He's a fucking psychopath. Yeah. Hey, fire again, my nigga.
Literally, he's just kind of like, damn, bro, why you do that? Because fuck it, I guess I gotta go now.
We know he knows how to bounce bullets and do all types of shit with.
Yeah.
He's good. Now, for me, what I'm going, I'm not gonna give it a rating yet. It's gonna be high. I will tell you that it will be high, but it's definitely behind season 2. See, so again, they like I said,
season 2 is the best one.
Season
for sure.
2 was insane, action packed, good story. But this season, like I said, this season, the storytelling is good. The storytelling is so good that I really don't care that much about Daredevil.
Literally, he wasn't Daredevil for like half the season. I don't care.
more than half. So like, it's really like, damn, do I, but we know what it's getting to. I I care and I don't care about. We ain't seen Frank yet. We seen him, but I'm
Not
sorry,
for real.
we ain't seen the Punisher yet.
We seen Frank Castle. We ain't seen Punisher.
We seen Frank.
No.
He seen him getting ready, preparing for something.
We ain't seen Punisher yet, though. No, you right.
We seen screenshots of these guys with the Punisher logo, and we haven't seen that yet in this show. Yeah. So, like I said, it's doing a good enough job of keep me entertained and keeping me interested. Because again, even without seeing the screenshots or the set photos of that Daredevil Punisher skull, we knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah,
we knew where it was going. Because we seen the first one where they killed Hector. We don't know who that was still, but
still don't know who that was.
We know it wasn't Frank. Yeah. We do know that much. So it's doing a good job of keeping me entertained. Like you said, it doesn't have the feel of the old shows, which is good, but it kind of does as far as it being dark, But like I said, I feel like this is way a little darker than the previous one, just because of how it's
in a sense,
the tone of it is just a little darker than the originals were. Like I said, Matt had some good days in other seasons. I feel like the only good thing happened to him this season was girl.
Yeah, Heather's been the only bright spot in his life right now. Other than that, Matt's life's been kind of fucked up from episode 1 on, and it's just persistent like that.
He's making more money at the firm. He got another apartment, but this is not what his heart is into. But he can't do what he did with Foggy, because Foggy cared about the little man too. Foggy was fine with getting paid in fucking enchiladas.
Yeah.
Kirsten, like, nigga, we need some money.
Yeah, Kirsten ain't going. Kirsten ain't going for that. She's like, boy, how many more pro bono cases you gonna take? We can't keep. This ain't in the budget.
We can take a few. That's fine. I'm good. We can do this, but we need money, my dog.
Yeah.
So like I say, it's really like I said, I like the way it's turning out so far. I'm really interested in how they're gonna play this out in this next episode, because Matt got shot right here. Or I'm guessing, he got.
It was like a shoulder area, like right above his chest, kind of.
I'm tripping because it's flipped, but so like,
around
right here, around his little right before the shoulder area. So like, how is he gonna operate? Are they gonna do a jump for us? Is it gonna be right after this? Is something else gonna end out the season? Are we gonna see Frank come in this motherfucking clear house?
I would like to see that.
I would. We don't see Poindexter leave the gala. We see him shoot and then, kind of drop his gun a little bit to what's going to happen. They know he's here at this point. Everybody screaming, everybody running. They set up taking down the task force. BB and a commissioner. Like, he told her, hey, I got these files. I got files on all these niggas.
On all of them. What you want to know?
Which is crazy, because you've had these files, my nigga. You could have been sent these to the press. You could have sent these to the governor.
He wasn't pressed to actually do the right thing until he realized he had no power left, and this is the last play he has to get his department back.
He should have been knew he ain't had no power left. He knew that they didn't answer to him. Again, the detective, she found all that shit about Muse, and what Fitz do? Turn it over to the task force.
Yeah.
So
that's facts.
Everybody's making their plays, but again, Matt, what the fuck were you thinking, my nigga? But like you said, Poindexter set that up. You're not gonna let me die.
Yeah, no,
and he didn't let him die, and then he killed at least 5 people. 6.
No,
he killed 5 in the prison.
Foreshadowed that.
5 in the prison, and he killed at least 1 police officer at the thing because he took his sniper.
Because he took his suits. Yeah, he took his uniform. So
nigga, what are
Matt, you kind of just unleashed hell and got yourself shot. So congratulations, I guess. You got what you wanted.
So like, now what Heather's saying is like, she telling you like, yo, you this nigga. And how do you explain? I'll let this nigga go because I know what's going on. He was gonna find out that it was Vanessa anyway.
Yeah.
Because if you would have just went to the dinner like you planned on it, but you let this nigga out. You let this because what they said, he killed 13 people that first episode, including Foggy.
A lot. I don't know.
I know
he murked a lot of people in that first episode.
It was in the double digits
for sure.
That nigga, like, I'm
12
not
plus for sure.
I'm not
12
letting him
plus.
Nigga, you kill my best friend, nigga?
12 plus.
Nigga, I might get somebody a shank for your ass.
Yeah, no, it was just weird how he decided to handle that. I feel like he's still trying to like manipulate and control certain situations. I don't really understand. I don't know. Part of me is questioning whether or not he actually intended for him to get out. I feel like that's a weird, because at that point you don't control that variable, and that's a dangerous variable to just have out there.
That's a
You
danger
know what I'm saying?
at all. Like you can't. I don't care if you thought you was gonna get him sent to the hole, but he was going to kill somebody.
Yeah,
Like
like
that,
he
and
was,
that's the thing. Like
lives were going to be lost if Bullseye got out. So I can't imagine that his intention was for him to escape.
from the first episode of season 3, where when he killed all those people trying to kill Fisk. He's a. Didn't he shoot somebody in the head that was already down in the first episode too? In
Are
that
you talking
season
about in
3?
season 3?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he executed somebody.
No, season 3. His body count in season 3 is insanely high. Bullseye was killing an insane amount
giving
of
him
people
an
in season 3.
opportunity to do it again. It's almost like giving Frank an opportunity to escape. Nigga, and these criminals around here. I'm gonna take something with me when I go. Yeah. No, Frank not gonna kill no innocents, or he gonna try not to. Poindexter is a fucking sociopath. He's gonna. You get in his way, he's going to kill you. You cannot be in his way, because what was that doctor gonna do? He's gonna tell, which is getting in his way.
Literally,
that nigga does. Literally, I was thinking when he got on that bus, I'm like, oh, this nigga, because the nigga in front of him, like, looking at him. Then he just
rough day, huh?
To him. Yeah, I'm like, he's gonna be like, oh, yo, this is dead. I thought he was gonna clean that bus up.
No, I'm glad that they made it a little more subtle than that and kind of saved his rampage for the gala. I think that was when we needed to first see him, in public be Bullseye.
That's the other thing I hope we see. I hope that this nigga actually is trying to kill niggas when episode 9 come back on.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see Bullseye. I think we're gonna see Bullseye go full Bullseye in episode 9.
Like I say, because the way he just kind of dropped the gun and like looked like, damn, I shot the lawyer. Like, shoot again. He would have hit Fisk. And why was you trying to hit Fisk in the chest? Shoot this nigga in the head.
Fisk, too much body mass. Like you gotta, so like you gotta go for the better target there.
I know they're not gonna let him go too crazy, because we still need the task force. Like we know they still doing their thing in this next season. So they propped up this other officer, this detective, kind of late though. Mm-hmm. They really was working on Powell a lot earlier in the season, but then this black detective or sergeant, I don't remember which one it was. He's getting a lot more screen time right now.
A lot more. He had more scenes in this episode than I was anticipating, honestly. Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm gonna wait till this next episode, because again, I don't think they're gonna drop the ball. I don't think they're gonna fumble this at all. But I didn't think Game of Thrones was gonna fumble that last episode either. So
don't even
that last
on
season.
That note,
I didn't think so. Hey, I wait to get my rating.
Brought up season 8 of Game of Thrones, bro. We was having a great conversation. We was talking about this phenomenal TV show. Marvel finally has a win under their belt after so many terrible shows and movies. And you want to bring up season 8 of Game of Thrones? I apologize, y'all. We didn't mean to bring that memory back up for you. I didn't want to bring that memory back up for you.
Listen, I'm just saying, though, you never know.
You're right. You never know, but I'm confident they're going to stick the landing on this one. I don't think it's going to be a season 8 situation. I'm hoping it's not, at least. But let us know what you guys think of episodes 7 and 8 of Daredevil Born Again. What are you looking forward to in the finale? What are you expecting to see in season 2? Since season 2 has started filming now, so we'll probably get a few more updates from that as time goes on, for the rest of the year as well. Always continue to like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate all the support. And until next time, it's the Reel Junkies. Peace.